From 16 Sports, this is Countdown to Destiny.
Hey everyone, Joshua Short with you here in our WNDU studios in South Bend, Indiana. I am really excited about this one, wherever you're watching us at. We are so excited to talk about one of the, and I think it is pivotal if you are a Notre Dame fan, one of the biggest matchups in recent history for the Fighting Irish. They go against the Bulldogs. They will do a dance in New Orleans. That will take place tomorrow night. So we're just over 24 hours or so away from that. And look, a lot of people, a lot of you are excited about this as preparations are underway. A lot going on down in New Orleans. So without further ado, I want to bring in the crew who is down in New Orleans right now. We've got Jackson Neal and our Sabrina Hoover down there as well right now. It is good to see you both. Hey guys.
How's it going, Josh? It's nice to be down here in New Orleans. It's nice and warm down here. I don't know if you can tell, we're kind of wearing little short sleeves.
I know, I should probably take this off. I'm a little hot, honestly.
Exactly.
I'm jealous.
Down here.
I am jealous, guys. You guys look like you're having a lot of fun down there. And I will tell you, I am holding you guys to try some food down there because I wrote this down. Chicken tenders and pizza is all you tried in New Orleans so far?
Okay, so in our defense, we got in at like 11:30 midnight last night, so there wasn't much open. So I just went right by the hotel. There was a pizza shop, and that's what I got.
And I did have to say, I had a beignet at breakfast, but it's at Sheridan. So I got to have a beignet at an actual place that will have great beignets. Not saying that one was bad. It was very good. But.
With the beignets, you got to be careful because the powdered sugar, depending on which way the wind blows, it will mess up your outfit. I can tell you from experience. I'm just putting it out there. Look, we're so excited. We're so glad to have you guys down there. Let's talk about this big game. We start first, of course, with the preparation. Again, a little bit more than 24 hours away, really about 30 hours away or so before kickoff for what they're calling the Sugar Bowl. Give us a vibe check down there. Give us a little bit about the insights for those of us who are not able to go down to New Orleans to the Superdome tomorrow.
Yeah, right now we're staying at the Sheraton on Canal Street. That's where we're at right now. Right across the street's the Marriott. That's where the Georgia people are staying. Notre Dame people kind of in the Sheraton. And we're just kind of seeing a lot of fans walking around the city right now. We're seeing a lot of people just kind of having a good time so far. I know tonight's New Year's Eve, so a lot of people have a better time. But it's going to be just overall a really positive atmosphere so far.
Yeah, and I know we got in a little bit late last night. You already kind of mentioned that, but seeing so many Irish fans, at the airport, wanting, going on the same flight as us, just excited about this atmosphere, all wearing their Irish gear. So again, it's just really, really exciting to see everyone here.
That's great stuff, guys. Let me ask you guys, we got some specifics to talk about, some big news coming down about head coach Marcus Freeman. Can you talk about what we've just learned over the last several hours?
Yeah, Marcus Freeman won the Dodd Trophy as the Coach of the Year right now, and that's just a big honor for Freeman. It's something that this year he really showed, I think, his best coaching year so far, and was rewarded for it. You look at the team back in Northern, they lost to Northern Illinois in week 2, a team that at that point we thought, okay, they're definitely not hosting a playoff game and probably not making the playoff at all. Instead, they ended up hosting a game because they won 10 straight games. When you look at the job Freeman did in terms of not letting this season kind of get away from the team, I think that's why he earned that award.
And I definitely want to mention, too, Georgia has faced Notre Dame before. Georgia has beat Notre Dame twice, 2017, 2019, if you count the 1981 Sugar Bowl. But in those 2 losses, Brian Kelly has been the head coach. If Marcus Freeman can come in here, get a win over a coach like Kirby Smart, he's showing more in his 3rd year than I think any coach has.
Really, yeah.
And you're talking about that 3rd year. Let's talk about that because recently in the last couple of weeks, we've learned about that big extension, right? Coach Freeman's going to call South Bend home a little bit longer. Talk about how that's helped guide this team during this time because, again, a lot of the Notre Dame fans even saying, wow, he's got this extension already. You got to win the big one first, though, right?
A lot of people are thinking like that, but just look at where this Notre Dame program is at right now in terms of the program as a whole. This season, getting to now the second round of the college football playoff, maybe further, we'll see how far they go, but also the steps forward, the recruiting battles they've won, these big recruits we've seen, these young guys come in and make an immediate impact. Think someone like Anthony Knapp on the offensive line, Leonard Moore in the secondary, Kingston Viliamuasa at linebacker. These are guys that are pretty young and they're already stepping in and making a contribution, and that's because of this coaching staff and the ability they are able to recruit and build a program.
And it's so interesting to hear, sorry, there's a bus going by. It's so interesting to hear, how Marcus Freeman talks about not only his coaching staff, also his players. Just he's been a player himself. He knows these instances. He's been in big moments like this. And maybe, Kirby Smart, you could argue, has been in bigger moments recently. But Marcus Freeman has put together a team that has had a lot of injuries, a lot of adversity. And you've seen how he's dealt with all of that.
The big and busy, mean streets of New Orleans. You can hear that in the background, so we get it. We know it's busy where you guys are, right? You got a trolley on your left side right now, Sabrina. Shows you how things are happening right there.
Oh.
Isn't that cool?
Everybody wave.
Everybody wave. Let's talk about
everybody.
some of the injuries. This team right now, I think a lot of people are bringing attention, of course, to Riley Mills, but also Georgia's got some injuries too. So can you guys talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, Georgia's injury is probably the biggest one is Carson Beck, their starting quarterback. He's been 24-3 over the past 2 years as Georgia's starter. He's out this football game. He's actually going to the NFL draft once he recovers. In his place is Gunnar Stockton, who was a pretty highly rated recruit, but it's going to be his first ever career start in a college football playoff game. He's the first ever quarterback to have that happen. When you have a young player like that, making a big moment like this with little experience, it's really tough.
And I know, and we saw a little bit of Gunnar Stockton in that SEC championship game against Texas. They talked about even watching film on Gunnar Stockton, they only had like 80 or so plays of him really, on the field. But talking about that last game against Texas, he came in when Georgia was down, when Carson Beck, went out of the game. Gunnar Stockton went down, led them to that win. The defense really led them to that win. But, just getting that 2-0 record against Texas for Georgia, it just seems like Gunnar Stockton is a competitor. He might not have all, the dual threat quarterbacks that are dual threat skills that Riley Leonard has, but he has shown he's a competitor, and he shows that he can come in times when they need him most.
And also, you mentioned there Josh Riley Mills on the defensive side for Notre Dame. That's a big, that's the big loss for them as well. Sack leader for the Irish right now. But one thing I want to point out, we saw Howard Cross, another interior defensive lineman, senior, miss a couple games towards the end of the season, and Riley Mills stepped up in his place. Well, now Howard Cross is back and Riley Mills is out. I think I know what's going to end up happening.
Yeah, he might be my player to watch, but on the defensive line. But it's just going to be interesting to see. Is Gunnar Stockton going to hold the ball? Is he going to run a lot? We don't really know what he's capable of. Because they got two backs. Nate Frazier, Trevor Etienne. He's also a great running back in the back as well. But then they get you with the tight ends and the wide receivers. So again, this is going to be a Georgia offense that Notre Dame hasn't faced this season. An offense like as successful as them.
I guess I want to ask you guys that question because I think that's one of the things that the coaches have talked about ad nauseum this season about how there's always this next man up standard at Notre Dame. And so there's an injury or injuries that take place, there's always going to be that next man up because it's unfortunate, but you've got to be prepared. How does Georgia prepare to face someone that they've never seen before and that's not necessarily in film every single day, every single week?
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, that next man up mentality. That's something we've seen just kind of all year long. Anthony Knapp at left tackle is my biggest example of that. We saw Charles Jagasaw come into fall camp. He was supposed to be the starting left tackle, one of the most important positions on the football team. Instead, he gets injured for the season. He's actually back now, but Anthony Knapp steps up, does a great job. So we've seen that next man up mentality. But in terms of preparation and something like for Notre Dame preparing for a quarterback they haven't seen, you just have to play your own football game. And in games like this, sometimes you get too focused on the opponent, whether Georgia focused on Notre Dame, or Notre Dame focused on Georgia. It's about playing your own football game and really focusing what you've done well all season, because if you're in the Sugar Bowl, that means you're a pretty successful team. Yeah,
and for Georgia's side of things, I think we talked about this too. They're not really up as like a Georgia successful team as they have been in recent years, but this is still a Kirby Smart-led program, and I think we see that every single game. Obviously they got the first round bye. They're good, successful in this kind of area in the playoffs. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to go against a team like Notre Dame, that has had a lot of adversity, but again, has shown that they can just continue to excel.
You guys are doing a great job down there, and I just want to mention this one thing. You guys, it's obvious we've got the right people down there because we are excited to see your coverage throughout the next 24 to 36 hours. With that in mind, give us a little bit of the vibe check down there. Have you guys seen some Notre Dame fans? Who have you seen? What were you able to see over the last 12 to 18 hours or so? I know you guys aren't getting much sleep down there, but it's in New Orleans, so who's complaining?
I mean, right now, just kind of walking around, we've been able to see a ton of Notre Dame and Georgia fans, I would say.
Yeah.
Both these fan bases have really shown up. Obviously, Georgia, being kind of down here south, you just get to see some fans from them, but Notre Dame fans, they always travel. I've traveled to Texas earlier this year, traveled to New York, always see Notre Dame fans on the flights, and the airports, and just at the hotels, and we're seeing the same thing right here.
I was going to say, we actually just saw some fans walking this way with all their Irish gear, and I was like, Jackson, we got to interview them.
Talk to them.
We're keeping you from doing your jobs right now is what we're doing, I know. But really quickly, I think just to put this all in perspective, if you have never watched a Georgia game, I know you guys are watching all of these teams because obviously that's the time of year we're in, right? Talk about what people can expect from this game, and if you can, both of you, give us your predictions about what could potentially go down. I know you guys are in the game of predicting, you're reporting the story, but I'm curious, as sports fans, what you guys are anticipating.
So, I mean, just when you look at both of these teams, they're pretty similar, actually, in terms of the fact that they have really strong defenses and they like to kind of just control the ball on offense. Don't make too many big plays, just kind of, win low-scoring games. So if you're going to be watching this football game as a fan, don't expect a 40-30 type of game.
All defense.
Yeah, all defense. These are two really strong teams. I mean, we hear Georgia, the SEC, the kind of perception of the SEC is really tough, hard-nosed football. And that's what Georgia plays. You mentioned they might have the talent they've had in past years with first-round picks all over the defense. Well, they still have some really, really highly rated players on that side of the ball. So if you're a fan watching this, I expect it to be really, low-scoring, hard-fought game. In terms of prediction, you're going to have to tune in to Countdown to Destiny for my personal score prediction. That's tomorrow night, 7 p.m. on WNDU. That's a tease there.
That is called a tease, ladies and gents.
It's going to be low-scoring.
And look, we got the full screen
well,
really quickly. I just want to say this. We got the full screen as soon as you said it. I mean, it's perfect timing. Come on.
Dang it. He knows TV. So I'm going to go with the same thing as him. Obviously defensive game here. But again, they faced an SEC team in the first round. I mean, in the first week against A&M. They did successful things against them. Again, this is a big Georgia team, right? Big offensive line, big defensive line. Again, this is going to be a huge game just for Notre Dame just to kind of get on the map. They've already gotten to this point, showed America that they can get here. But can they win a game like this against a big SEC team like Georgia? So again, low-scoring game, and I will reveal that tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. Give us a time, one more time, for folks who may not watch us that often, who want to watch you to do this job that you expertly have been doing over the last several weeks during this playoff.
Yeah, so we'll be live from down here in New Orleans at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. That's New Year's Day, 7 p.m. on WNDU. We'll be live for about a half an hour right on WNDU, previewing all things you need to know about this matchup, giving you a little taste of New Orleans as well. It's just going to be a really, really fun time.
Taste as in we need to taste a lot of food.
We need to taste some more food.
Yeah.
You guys got to get busy. You guys got to be back on the air with us here at 4 o'clock here in the next few hours, 4, 5, and 6, of course. And, of course, you guys got a game to cover tomorrow. Really quickly, because I know people are watching this and they're curious, too. I mean, New Orleans on New Year's. How you guys celebrating? You guys have reservations for a place? Are you guys going with some friends down there? What's happening? Or are you guys preparing and really with the nose in the books?
Well, Josh, it's all about, this is a business trip. So I'm just kidding.
Stick to the books, Josh.
We'll have a little fun for sure. I know there's a parade coming down here, throughout the day and night a little bit. So we'll see some of the sights and sounds, but got a big day tomorrow. I think just like the players, we're going to make sure to get our sleep. Right, Sabrina?
Yes. No, we need a long night of sleep, but it's funny, as you mentioned these trolleys going by, I think a lady even asked us, is this where the parade is? And Jackson and I were like, yeah, this is. So we'll definitely experience that as well.
Well, to us, you guys are the parade. You're a lot of fun and you're worth watching, and we can't wait to see your coverage as it continues. And I can tell you our boss was not watching. You're no trouble whatsoever. I just want to put that out there. Sabrina, Jackson, we appreciate you guys. Hop on the trolley. We'll see you guys soon. We'll see you guys later tonight.
Thank you so much.
Of course, guys. It's always fun to watch those guys do what they do, and it's really, really great to have them joining us all the way from New Orleans. This is, again, Countdown to Destiny. You see the time right there. You just heard the guys talk about it. Wednesday, that is tomorrow at 7 o'clock, right before kickoff. The Sugar Bowl, the Superdome, Georgia, Notre Dame. It's a big game. I don't have to tell you how big it is. If you are a Fighting Irish fan, you know this already. We'll see you guys then. Of course, I'll see you guys tonight at 4 o'clock, and we'll see Jackson and Sabrina coming up in just a few hours and throughout the tenure here of this extraordinary college football playoff.